Welcome back to Eat Sleep Boxing Repeats YouTube channel. Delighted to be joined for another boxing betting tips show with Paul Kelly. Paul, we're still in the kind of the hungover phase of the Usyk Joshua 2 fight. I imagine you didn't win any money that night. I know you were very much Team AJ. I'm sure you didn't put money on Usyk to win. But yeah, how are you?
Yeah, you're completely right there. And no money was won on the Joshua fight. I mean, I didn't put any on, which might show you was I actually all that confident that he was going to win.
It was
Um,
all an act.
no, but yeah, no. Good to get back to our consistent weekly preview shows on Monday and betting shows
Yeah,
now as well.
good stuff. I'm sure there were a few people who certain parts of the round nine of that fight were getting very excited, thinking Joshua was gonna get the stoppage, but wasn't to be. We will move on. As we were saying off camera, bit of kind of not, I don't want to call it an odd week of boxing, but there's just kind of bits of boxing here, kind of here and there, and maybe a week off for some people. But I'm sure some hardcore fans will still be watching boxing where they can. I'll hand the floor to you now. What is your first tip for us this week?
Yeah, I'll go to the heavyweight division for my first tip, and it is the return of Murat Gassiev, and he is fighting Carlos Welch, I think pronounce his name. And if you look at the odds, I'm pretty sure Gassiev's 1-100 to win, which is making me laugh because Eliot was kind of bigging up the other day, saying that he carries dynamite in his hands, which he may well do, but his level of opposition is very poor. He's 42 years old, and let's be honest, if you're judging Gassiev off his cruiserweight antics, and giving Usyk a tough fight and being a world champion down there, and then having 2 knockout wins since moving up to heavyweight, yes, against limited opposition on both occasions, and flipping, it was about a year ago since he last fought. It's been a good while, but you can't overlook a Gassiev knockout here, in my opinion. And the only real value that I can see is, unless you want to go individual rounds, Gassiev knockout in the first 2 rounds is 10-11. So it's kind of one of them where, yeah, you probably don't put it on as a standalone bet, but if you're wanting to, a treble or an ACA, why not throw it in? So yeah, Gassiev knockout in rounds 1-2 at 10-11.
Yeah, completely fair. I think those odds are kind of making a statement. I think what I'd add to that is obviously Gassiev's had 2 fights at heavyweight now over a long period of time. Both of them have ended in early KOs. Obviously, he's was a puncher at cruiserweight as well. He's got a good punching record. So yeah, it's hard to see. I just think this kind of Welsh bloke, he's 42 years old. Should you really still be fighting? You don't really get many fighters who get to that sort of age. So we'll see what happens. I think I'm just going on Sky Bet now, and I've seen there's a boost there for Gassiev to win in round 1 is 9-4. However, Gassiev, as we were saying on Monday, he's been inactive. He could be rusty. It could take him a couple of rounds to get back used to being in the ring. So maybe people will be looking at route. Maybe some people think Gassiev it might take him a couple of rounds to warm into the fight. However, I respect what you've said. To be honest, I think that's a good shout. We'll go back to you.
And the second one is going to be another heavyweight fight, and another, I think he's 1-100 as well to win. F.A. Ajagba is fighting Joseph Darmos, I think you pronounce his name, and I've never heard of the bloke. F.A. Ajagba, we know there was a bit of hype surrounding him, and then I think he fought Frank Sanchez and got beat.
Yeah,
but I think he on his record, and Frank Sanchez is obviously probably one of those names in the heavyweight division who you would say is up and coming and verging on a world title shot, I suppose. So yeah, again, like I said with the Gassiev one, exactly the same thing. I see Ajagba's got a lot of knockouts, and I can see him running through this Darmos bloke. So Ajagba knockout in the first 2 rounds is 4-6, so not even as good a price as 10-11. But again, if there's bets that you like and you want a wee bit more value in a treble or an ACA or a double or whatever it is, then probably worth adding to that.
Yeah, completely stacked show we've got this week full of value. I would say, yeah, I think I was fully on the Ajagba hype train. If I'm honest, I thought he was going to beat Frank Sanchez, and then he didn't. It's always interesting when someone has their first fight back after their first career defeat, in regards to whether are they going to just come up against someone that their team is kind of neat knows is built for them, someone who they are going to just kind of get through quite straightforward, or do they want more of a test? And looking at this, I think this is more let's get back to winning ways. And yeah, if you're a heavyweight, you want to do that via stoppage. So we'll see again. Ajagba, a big hitter in the division. Similar punching records, KO percentage wise as Gassiev. So yeah, we'll see. I don't think he's going to want to let this fight, go the distance or go anywhere near the distance, to be honest.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I have got one more tip for us this weekend, which I think you, Elliot, and I were all in agreement that this is definitely, I'd say, the fight of the weekend between Jose Pedraza and Richard Commey. And it was one of them where I like to, before I look at the odds of a fight, I'm thinking in my head, I'm trying to kind of guess what it would be, and I did think Pedraza would be the favorite. But he's actually more of a heavy favorite than I thought he would be. I think he's around 1-3 or something. I thought it maybe would have been 8-13 or 8-15 or whatever. So yeah, if you think Richard Commey can step up and carry his power up and get another knockout, then yeah, I think there's definitely value there for you. But I'm gonna go with Pedraza. Yeah, so he's been at. I know they've fought in the lower weight divisions, but Pedraza's been at super lightweight longer. He's had a few fights there now already, so he's kind of more used to the weight. Both of these guys we mentioned on Monday as well. Their losses have only come against the top guys, really. Pedraza's lost to Ramirez, Lomachenko, Zepeda, and Tank Davis, and then Comey's lost to Lomachenko, Teofimo Lopez, Robert Easter, and Dennis Shafikov. You know what I'm saying anyway. You know what I mean. So yeah, I mean, they've both got good records, and I do think it is an interesting fight. It's just whether Comey's power carries up. And I think the telling factor here is the fact that Pedraza has fought here for a long time in this division. If you look at their records, they're more or less identical. 4 defeats, one is 29 wins, one is 30. Then you look at Commey has far more knockouts, but I think he's probably fought lesser opposition leading up to becoming world champion. So I think that, if you look at the way Pedraza beat Stephen Smith and Ray Beltran and stuff, I could see him dealing with Comey's power here and probably winning it on the scorecards. So at the minute, just for Jose Pedraza to win on points is 8-13. But as of yet, because of the full set of odds aren't out, I think that for him to win unanimously would be the way to go, which I imagine would be around evens or better, considering that I'm just doing on points. So that's obviously, it could be a split decision or a majority or whatever. Is 8-13. So yeah, I've gone for Pedraza points at 8-13 from a third tip.
Yeah, fair enough. I take my hat off to anyone who's putting money on this fight or predicting a winner. I'm struggling to. However, one thing I would say is I feel like I've looked into this fight a little bit now over the course of the week, and I think Pedraza on points or Comey by KO is likely how it's going to go, and Comey KO at 4-1 is tempting, but again, it's a tricky one to predict. It's sort of one of those where I wish we could talk about this fight after the weigh-in, but for like technical reasons, we probably can't do that. But yeah, I might put a cheeky $5 on something after the weigh-in, see what Comey looks like at the new weight, who's in better shape. But yeah, looking forward to it. But yeah, fair play to you for putting a tip out there on that one, mate. I think it's definitely a tricky one.
Yeah, definitely. I just hope it's a good fight, because it is definitely the one that catches the eye this weekend. But in saying that, there aren't too many great ones.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so as always, Paul, what are those three bets in if you put them into a treble?
Yeah, I'm usually coming here saying that if you put a tenner on it, you get about £700 back on my treble. But no, not this week. This week's somewhat of a cash builder, I would say. If you put £10 on the treble of Gassiev knockout in the first 2 rounds, Ajagba knockout in the first 2 rounds, and Pedraza on points, £10 returns you about £48.50, so just short of £50. So yes, not massive wins, but a win's a win at the end of the day. And yeah, I think this is more of a cash building treble this week.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, obviously we talk about trebles here, but you know, I could have said to you, let's do a sixfold, and then and then the winnings would be bigger. But yeah, it's just one of those weeks, to be honest. We'll see what happens. I think that was all from us in terms of this weekend, Paul. There was something.